Hi everyone, Janie here. Welcome back to my garden, my very rainy garden. We have been having rain all this whole past weekend and then into the first half of the week, which is great. You know, it's really good. It's good for the drought and everything like that, but it also is our last frost date. Actually, it's today that I'm filming today. Our last frost here in Northern California where I live, it is February 28th. And I don't know if you all know, I didn't know this when I first started gardening, so I'm just gonna say it. When you look up your last frost, so when you go to, a search engine and you type in last frost and then your zip code 95618, it will come up with a date and will tell you your last frost date. Now, that date is usually the 70% chance that you won't have frost after that date. So it's still just a 70% chance. It's not a 100% chance. As you get further on in the season, then it gets like to the 80% chance and the 90% chance. So you kind of just have to watch the weather and see how the weather's doing. So it's usually the 70% chance is what your last frost date is. So because today's my last frost doesn't mean we're not going to have any more frost, but there's only a 30% chance that we are going to have a frost. So anyway, it's my last frost, but it's still raining. My neighbor, I think she's getting her kitchen redone, so they're doing a little bit of construction back there, so you'll probably hear that. It is my last frost, but that doesn't mean it's time to plant, unfortunately, because I'm super excited about it. But it is getting close to the time, or it is the time that I can start doing like spring garden chores, basically. And one of the things that I need to do is I need to fertilize my shrubs. I need to fertilize my roses. I need to start fertilizing my citrus. I need to fertilize, not my limelights yet, but I am going to acidify my limelights and just a bunch of different plants. So I thought, oh, it's raining. I'm not going to be able to do anything. I'm going to have to stay inside all day. But no, so it is lightly raining. It's only going to get like maybe a half an inch over a day or two, right? So barely any. It's very, very light rain. And so I thought, okay, well, it's actually the perfect day for me to come out here and fertilize my shrubs and some of my perennials, because then I don't have to water it in because the rain will water it in. Now, I do have to say, you don't want to fertilize before a super heavy rain, because if you fertilize and then there's a super heavy rain with lots and lots of runoff, then that's just going to take all the fertilizer with the rain and it's going to take it into the drainage system and into the streams, and it's not good. It's really not good. So if you have a light frost, then great, but if you have a light rain, then great, but if you have a heavy rain, you probably want to wait until after the rainstorm. Okay, so let me show you what I am planning to fertilize today. I took out all of my fertilizers, put them on this table, so hopefully you guys can see it. Jason is here. Hello. So he's just going to be doing stuff in the garage and stuff like that. So this is all the stuff that I'm planning to use today. And then I made a little bit of a list. Excuse my messy handwriting. So I'm going to do my roses, my peonies, my honeysuckle, my topiaries, star jasmine, plumbago, I always say that wrong, gardenia, camellias, and then I'm going to acidify my tiny tough stuff hydrangea, my loropetalums, and my limelights. Oh, and I'm going to fertilize my lemons. So here is all my fertilizers that I'm using today, and it looks like I am sponsored by E.B. Stone. I am not sponsored by E.B. Stone, but I kind of wish I was, because I actually really love this company. For one thing, they're organic, which is great. It's good for the environment. It's good for the plants. It's better to try and use organic fertilizers, because what I've learned in my Master Gardener's course is that organic fertilizers actually feed the soil. And so they're feeding the soil to feed the plants, whereas synthetic fertilizers just directly feed the plants. So it's not really good. It's not really good for anybody. It's not really good for the plants. They kind of said that when you use organic fertilizers, it's like having an apple and, a healthy salad and some protein. Whereas if you're using a synthetic fertilizer, then you're basically having donuts, which will give you the energy for a little bit, but it'll wear off really quickly and it's not a healthy energy. But what I did want to tell you all, which I didn't tell you guys in my Master Gardener's recap video, I forgot to tell you guys, if you do have a fertilizer kind of like this one, This is the Proven Winners continuous release plant food. So it is a slow release plant food. Osmocote is kind of the same type of thing. If you guys have a synthetic fertilizer that's a slow release, or like those fertilizer stakes, those actually are fine. They are not bad because the slow release mechanisms that are in these type of fertilizers, it counteracts the synthetic nature of the fertilizers, and it allows the plant to slowly take it up, and it's not releasing all that synthetic stuff into the ground and possibly into the groundwater, wastewater, runoff water is what I'm trying to say. So if you guys have a continuous release one, these are fine to not have as organic. I mean, it's good to have organic, you know, like I know Espoma makes a lot of slow release what am I trying to say? Slow release fertilizers that are organic, and that's great. But say you have this stuff is really good. Proven Winners sends this to me, and I don't feel bad using this at all because it is a slow release one. Or say you have Osmocote, which is a really popular one. Say you have that in your, in your supply. Go ahead and use it and don't feel bad about it, because it's the mechanism of how the slow release fertilizers work make it so it's very similar to an organic. All right, and then this tub right here, this is my E.B. Stone all-purpose plant food. It's another organic slow release one. I just buy I use so much of this. I buy it in the 15-pound bags instead of the 4-pound bags like these are. And then I just stick it in this bin, just so I don't have one of those open bags laying around my garage. So my plan is that I'll do my roses. First of all, I'll put on my hood. Actually, it's not raining right now. It doesn't look. Yeah, it's such a light rain. Like, I'm just not too worried about it. So I'm going to go and I'm going to start with the all-purpose fertilizer, and I'm going to hit the peonies, the honeysuckles, my topiary, star jasmine, and plumbago. And then I'll go in with the camellia. And then I wanted to show you guys what I'm trying this year. This is for my roses. So now if you have a brand new rose, like a brand new bare root rose, I don't think you want to use this because I think that this might burn the roots. So my new Gertrude Jekyll rose that I have in my backyard, I'm not going to use this because I don't think it'll be good for it. But my Eden climbers, I am going to use this, and this is a combination, and I got this from, I think they're called Van Windens. It's a nursery in Napa, and it's like their secret rose fertilizer mix is what they say. And basically what it is it's 2 tablespoons of Solpo Mag, 1 cup of alfalfa meal, and then a 1/2 cup of rose food, and then mix it all together and scratch it into your roses. So that is my plan for fertilizing this year. I think that I'm just going to do that once, and then every month thereafter I will just use this on my roses. That's my plan, at least. Correct me if I'm wrong, if any of you know this secret fertilizer, if you're supposed to use it every month or just once in the spring. I'm not totally sure. I'll look into that a little bit more. All right, so yeah, I think that's all I had to tell you guys. So I am just going to get started, and now it's raining. That's okay. It's like barely raining. So it's going to be kind of hard filming because I'm trying not to get my phone wet. So I'll probably have to stick my phone somewhere like under an awning or something like that. So it might not be the best filming, but just bear with me. I'm just trying to get something done on a rainy day. Okay, change of plans. Jason offered to film. He is under an umbrella so the phone doesn't get wet. So he's just going to follow me around, and we're going to try and get this done quick, right?
That's right.
Okay, let's go. Fertilize these honeysuckle on my espalier. Let's get over here. It's starting to rain, actually.
I know.
Gosh. So I'm choosing not to fertilize these honeysuckles honeysuckle on my espalier because they already grow so fast anyway. I don't want to encourage them any more growth, but I am going to fertilize the honeysuckle on my pergolas in my backyard. So, do you think we should take a break?
It's getting wet.
It's pretty wet. Okay, we're gonna take a break. I'll be back. All right, we are at take 2. We had to go inside for a little bit. It was just raining just a little too hard right then. Not enough for me to be worried about putting fertilizer on today. I still think it's plenty to water the fertilizer in, but not have any runoff where it's, the fertilizer is going to get in the waterways or anything like that. So we're back to that. It's not supposed to really rain except for maybe a couple sprinkles for the rest of the day. And I'm sure now that I've said that, it's probably going to rain on us. I'm sure I just jinxed it, but that's okay. Let's just see what we can do on this rainy day. It's supposed to rain tomorrow a little bit as well. My mom just texted me while we were taking a break, and it is actually snowing up at her house right now. She lives 2 hours north of me, and over the weekend it snowed over a foot. Let me show you guys a clip right here of what her house looks like. It was absolutely beautiful, but of course they're not used to all that snow, so they definitely were snowed in, and she said it's snowing today as well. So pretty interesting weather here in California. All right, so I'm still on the all-purpose fertilizer. I'm gonna start working on my honeysuckle right now, and then I'm also going to fertilize my topiaries because those guys need some food badly. Okay, this is my gardenia. This is another plant that I received from my neighbor who passed away. I don't know what kind of gardenia it is, but I think it's doing really well in this spot. So what I'm planning to do is I'm planning to fertilize it with an acidic fertilizer. This is an azalea, camellia, and gardenia food. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this, and then I'm gonna go and I'm gonna fertilize all my camellias because they're about done blooming, and you wanna fertilize camellias right after they bloom. And if you guys haven't noticed, I'm not measuring at all. I'm not gonna bother measuring. Okay. I have hair in my mouth. Can you get it out? Because my hands are all dirty. Thank you. Perfect. Okay, I'm gonna move on from fertilizing now to soil acidifier. It's not quite time for me to fertilize my hydrangeas because they break dormancy so much later, so I'm probably gonna wait till late March or early April for fertilizing them. I made that mistake last year, and I think I fertilized them a little too early. But what I am gonna do is I'm gonna acidify the soil because hydrangeas, my Chinese fringe flower, and my tiny tough stuff hydrangea, that's another hydrangea, but it's a mountain hydrangea. They all like acidic soil. We have neutral to slightly basic soil, so I think adding a little bit of the soil acidifier will do them right. Okay, this first one is one of my limelights. You can see it has not broken dormancy yet. I'm trying to get around it. There we go. That works. How am I going to get under this lower pedlum? Oh boy. Right here. Okay. My jacket's gonna smell like fertilizer now. Okay, so now let's move on to the roses. This is just for my Eden climbing roses because those are the only two that have been in for over a year. Like I said, I'm gonna fertilize the newly planted ones with liquid rose fertilizer just so I don't burn the roots. So the magic recipe, they say, is 2 tablespoons Sulpo Mag, which is sulfur, potash, and magnesium. This one looks like salt. You can look at it here. See? 2 tablespoons of that. And then 1 cup of alfalfa meal. This is a half cup measure, so I'll do 2 of these. And then a half a cup of rose food. This isn't necessary. This is just something that I'm trying this year. I saw it on Instagram at that garden center. That garden center was talking about it on their Instagram, and so I thought, oh, okay, well, I'll try it. So I'm gonna go take this and I'm gonna put it on my 2 Eden climbers. They are looking so good. All right. Okay, I'm just scratching it in, and then when it starts raining it a little bit, the rain will water it in. And I think that will be perfect. Got a couple tulips coming up here. These were from last year, and since we live in zone 9B, we do not get that cold. So I'll be interested to see if these tulips actually bloom. All right, everyone, I am done with my rainy day fertilizer day. Even though it's not raining, you can actually see blue skies up there, but don't let that fool you because we are supposed to get more rain within the next hour and then rain the next day. And again, I want to emphasize, only fertilize if it's going to be lightly raining. We're not supposed to have anywhere more than a half of an inch in this whole rainstorm. And so I feel like that this just took away a step for me so that I don't have to water in all these plants now. So it made it easier for me. But if you're going to get heavier rains than that, what you're doing is you're risking all that fertilizer that you just put on the plants being washed away by the heavy rains. And then when it's washing it away, it's taking it down the drain storms and getting it into our water systems. So if you are going to have heavy rains, wait until after the heavy rains are done to fertilize. I'm not worried about it because this is just a light rainstorm. It's not that big of a deal. And then you can see I really am not specific about fertilizing, measuring my fertilizer. I kind of just throw handfuls wherever. I don't have time for measuring. The only thing I measured today was my rose concoction, and that's just because it was a new concoction, special recipe for me, so I wanted to get it right. I don't think that you can really harm your plants by not measuring exactly. The only time I really think you can harm harm your plants is when you have a brand newly planted plant, you don't want to over fertilize it and then you can burn its roots, which is why I am not fertilizing my Gertrude Jekyll climbing rose or my 2 iceberg rose standards in the backyard. I will be careful with that, and I will measure the liquid rose fertilizer. So yeah, so it's pretty easy. And then again, if you can get it in between really light rainstorms, that's even better because it makes your life easy. And thank you to Jason for helping me out. You made my life easy today. So I hope you all enjoyed this, and I hope you all have a chance to get in your garden today.